Baby girl. Okay. Hi everybody, it's Christina at Scrap Craft and Stitchery, and I am here today and I'm working on the 50 stack challenge hosted by Amy at Crafty Cat. And I'm catching up this week, and so I'm gonna just post these again and again and again, and this should be coming out Saturday, but I'm trying to get caught up because I fell behind and I'm almost there. So I am responding to, this is week 10 of this challenge, and there are 25 weeks in this challenge, and every week Amy pulls she has a bag and she pulls out 2 prompts. They're already all in the bag, but we don't know what they are. And this Monday, she posted on Monday, and this week she pulled polka dots and doodle. So I'm gonna do polka dots. So what I did over the weekend, before I even found out, is I have pulled out, anyway, I was doing some jelly printing over the weekend and have these marvelous pulls, and so this is off of my jelly. I was doing some jelly printing, and I was using some bubble wrap. I still have all of this on my desk. I have not cleaned up after myself yet. So you can use bubble wrap to pull up some of that paint, and then when you make your pulls, you get these beautiful patterns that are polka dots. So I'm going to use some of this, and I pulled out a few. I should really, under the cat bed up here, I have all these different, really just pretty pulls, and so I thought that would be fun to use this as a background. And then I was thinking, what is more quintessentially fashionably polka dotty than the 1950s? And I have some of these in my stash of ephemera that I've purchased, just some papers of this. So I'm gonna pick out, I don't know if I'm gonna use these girls. I'm going to find something that I think matches or will go with these polka dots and polka dots and polka dots. But I just found this blue one as we were talking about this. So that's what I'm going to do for polka dot. And then the other one is doodle. And for doodle, okay, I am going to do some sort of Zentangly doodly kind of a thing. And it's going to be beautiful and wonderful, and I'm excited about doodles because I've been doodling a lot lately, and it's really kind of where I wanted to be. So one thing is I am making, so for the 50 stack challenge, you can make any kind of ephemera you want, and I'm kind of thinking I might start making a bonus ephemera for this, because then I get, 2 for the price of 1 prompt. Once I get everything out and going, I might as well make, see what other kind of ephemera I can make. But what I really am excited about is for the 50 stack challenge, I'm doing a stack of 50 ephemera that are all 4x6 journal cards. So I'll show you what I have so far. So this is what I have so far for this, and this was, the first one was a sticker, and this was ripped, where I love making these. One thing I've noticed, that when you're making these in sets of 2 every week, and I work on them at the same time, they kind of bleed over into each other, so they're kind of like a back and forth kind of a thing. You don't have to do it that way, but it works really well. Like I said, once you have this stuff out and everything, it's just the supplies and everything. This was green tree, and very elaborate. I've also noticed, because I started out and I wasn't so busy, but now I'm a lot busier, obviously. So my these started out as fairly, this is kind of simple, but it's also fairly elaborate journal card. So it's got 3 cards actually put together, and a border, and it's got space on the inside and space on the inside, and these are like stationery that I've put in here, and it's got a front and a back, and elaborate, and some of these are like their own little books, and they have all these different parts and pockets, and all kinds of things, and I've noticed that was lace. I've gotten a lot simpler. This one was, again, just a very easy thing with a front and a back, but this is vellum and it's got 3 layers. This is postage stamp, but it's got a vellum layer on here, so I decorated 2 layers of vellum back to the card. So you can see I really love how this came out, and I love how the washi tape and everything kind of goes together. But I've been really going into my stash for a lot of these things. Like the postage stamps these are stickers that I have that were postage stamps, and I pulled those out, and I've really gotten into my stash for these, or I've gone ahead and made some really cool things. These are stamps of flowers, and these are foam stamps that I made and then decorated, and I made a whole sheet of these. You can get these on my Ko-fi shop, and I'll link that maybe in below. But these are really cool. This was flower. This is ledger, and again, this is just using things out of my stash. This has been a really great way to both use things in my stash where I have a lot of like mushrooms collected or something, or to make something that's a focal point. I'm kind of going back and forth, and I really like how that's kind of coming together. Since we're like at week 10, what week are we at? Anyway, this is 20. This has got to be week 10. We've been doing this for 10 weeks. And so this is tissue paper, and I made gnomes this week. And so this was tissue paper and label. And I had this cute little label, and I put a mushroom on it. But I was working on gnomes for another project, so that kind of got put in here. This could be doodle. This is just a bonus that I've thrown in here because I don't know what else to do with it. And this is for crack. But this was my cracked journal card. Crack. And this is, anyway, and I made a whole little greeting card kind of a thing that you could tuck that into a journal for writing on. And this was wallpaper, and I need to put something in here to write on, but I mean, I can do that when I'm ready to use that. And it just has an envelope on the back. And this is a journal card made out of a stamp that I have. And that was for stamp. And this is for, I always forget what this one was for. I love, love, love how this came out. So pretty. Paint splatter. So this does have paint splatters in the background. And I just love this. It's very modern, kind of urban grunge. And I have not put on some of these. So that week I did not put anything on the back of there. This is Wreath, which I just finished, and it's very pretty. And it has something, and I can always stamp something on here and put some lines and maybe make some lines or something and a border and make that a little more decorative. I was thinking it would be very pretty to punch out some of these leaves and make a border out of them, and you can put them at the bottom or the top, or the bottom and the top, or down the side. Anyway, that'd be kind of fun. Pretty soon you'll have the whole thing and you won't have to write anything because you've just written something in leaves. That would be fun. This is gold. I just finished this. I think this card came out so beautifully, and this is using a sticker from one of my sticker books. And this is family photos. This is my grandmother's family. My grandmother is here. And this is the Marcus and Katie Wax, my great-grandmother and grandfather and their family. They had 11 children, and there they all are. And I also just really love how this came out. And I have a writing place, and just love that. Okay. And what is this? This is gesso. What was this? This was photograph and gesso. And this is just kind of arty, but it also has this like whole collage of stickers from my sticker book because I love it. And I used black gesso and clear gesso to go over the top of the stickers and kind of keep them on there. And so I really love this black gesso. I really love it, and I put a stencil over it. And this card just has so many layers, and it was really easy to achieve with the stickers and the stencils and the gesso. So I think this was great. I just love the depth in this card between the background and the cardstock and the gesso, and the layers are very, very cool. I think it came out really cool. And I put a few more stickers because I'm like, I have so many stickers. I'm like super excited. I'm using them up. And those are my cards so far. So I'm having a really good time, and I'm having so much fun with these, like playing with these prompts, that I might go back and coming up when I get to, well, at this point I'm at 20, so I think that's good. When I get about halfway or every 10, I might go back and like just, or start making some clusters or some paper clips or things with things that are left over after I make these. I think that would be really cool and really fun, and you'd have something to go with this, so you start just really building like lots of ephemera. Instead of 50, you'll wind up with 100 or 400 or something. I don't know. So excited. Okay. My imagination is getting carried away with me. I think it'd be funny if I just did stripes and polka dots. Okay, let me get these guys back out and look and see what we want to use. And this should be fairly simple and easy, right? So I have these girls, they're just pages for your journal or something. I got these on Temu, obviously. So I have her, she's a polka dot. So I guess I'll sort these out into polka dots, and then see what matches the best. She has polka dots. That is something else. I might have even more of these. Who knows? And I have some little tiny stickers. Okay. She's a polka dots. She might go. I don't know. Let's just look at all of them. I have to make the best possible choice, right? I'm just going to fussy cut her out right out of here once I have found the correct one. Maybe I'll cut out a whole bunch of these. Why not, right? But maybe the thing to do here is to just cut some of these girls out and then see what happens. I have my stacks. Okay. Fussy cutting. Oh. 5:30. Crazy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut out any girls that are like polka dotted. Is what I'm gonna do. Ooh, I came dangerously close to cutting her shoulder right off. So yeah, I think it'd be really fun. To work on a couple of different kinds of ephemera. So I kind of since my brain kind of goes from project to project, and I just finished this massive project, and now I'm coming back to this project, and I'm like, I don't know. This probably means that I have autism and ADHD. I was just watching a video that was like, oh, this is what it says when like you have the autism and ADHD. You have, you know, $183 plan or so many ideas and so many plans. Yes, I have ideas, I've turned them into plans, I am doing them. That's the part. Right now I am doing this, and I'm thinking that if only I could expand my ephemera type to having bonus ephemera. How did I get to this point? Let's go back. So back in July, I was doing the July Junk Journal Challenge, and I got this I wanted to make a new journal. and I wound up making this new journal, and this has become my visual journal, right? And my visual journal, it's a writing journal, and it's also where I like to, kind of a glue book, where I like to put things off of my desk, right? This is all building. This is not like just random stuff. So, but I write, and I found that as I was writing in my journal and creating in my journal, that it was really cool that I was creating all these really cool writing spaces, and sometimes I would have like a quote or something that I was working with, and I could add that in another journal or whatever, or just quotes I was considering using for projects, and maybe they were kind of like leftover quotes, but if I put those into my journal, then I could come back later and write about it. And so I take this prompt and I see it and I process it, but then I keep it and I come back and see it and process it again, because I've glued it into my journal, which is a writing journal, among other things. And I'm building this way of having a journal that's so I'm going along and I'm building a journal that kind of builds its own prompts, which is really kind of a cool place to be. Or we could put her on one of these really super fabulous backgrounds like that. I think, speaking of quotes, let's get this girl a quote, shall we? Okay, so we're about done with Polka Dot, I think. We could put her on something. This would be kind of fun. Polka Dot, Polka Dot. I don't think I have anything else that's going to be better with this one. Okay. That is the matching winner for this. Lots of polka dots. So anyway, and that's why I chose to do journal cards, because I was doing a lot of writing in my journal, just a lot of writing in my journal, and when I started this, and I was like, well, I will use journal cards a lot. And that was back in July, and you know, it kind of comes and goes, and I've run out of time to be doing as much writing as I was doing, because, you know, wouldn't you know it? Somebody know any polka dot quotes? I might have to stop and get one. I think this is going to be relatively easy. I'm going to put this down. We can put her down, do a little bit of something, I don't know. Let's cut this out too. But it's all going to come back around because, you know, I'm going to have all these journal cards. And then too, I think that, like, yes. The other way to do it would be, I think, sometimes maybe some of these journal cards can wind up being kind of grouped together at the end. And then you could focus on making ephemera that fits each one and make a separate journal for each one, based on the journal cards, piles of journal cards that are kind of related that you have. All kinds of possibilities for this to spin off into 12 different projects. Wow, okay. Beautiful. I like that a lot better. Just awesome. So I bought these on Temu, but they are obviously just AI generated images. These girls, I probably could have made them myself. You know? And that would have taken time, but honestly, I mean, they've been sitting in my, like, stash unused for a long, long time. And I got them why? Was I going to make them into a journal? Maybe. I don't know. Let's cut that off. Okay. Okay. I don't know what else we might want to do with this background, but we probably need to do something. But let's go ahead and just ink her. And she's black and white. This is kind of a little bit brown. Let's go black. And we'll start adding more black in. There's a little bit of black on this paper. I was using definitely some black ink at some point when I was jelly printing, and I kind of changed that. I feel like she needs something. Something she does. Let's get out some black ink and ink around her. Yeah, I mean, I get really excited. I love doing prompts, don't you? Because, I mean, I just love having this idea and then kind of taking that idea and seeing where it goes. Like I said, I mean, these 50s girl papers have been in my stash for a while, and I just bought them because I liked them and I saw them and I was kind of like, oh, okay. I didn't really have any idea, and I got them, and I think I have more than even this. I think I have some that I folded up, and I have no idea where they're at. Yes, I need to go through and organize all my things. But, I mean, as I'm sitting here and I'm kind of like ready for a project, and the prompt Polka Dot brought the okay, I picked that because I kind of like her on this blue. I just feel like she kind of pops out more. Let's just isn't she pretty? All right. I'm going to keep moving forward. I am going to stop second guessing myself, and I'm just going to do what I was doing. Okay. We could do a lot of different things with this. And we could use up a whole bunch of our stash here, which is like a thing I really like to do. And first, we need to find... So the other thing I have that's kind of 1950s-ish that I've had out for a little while and have been working with is this stamp, which is kind of fun. It's just this like kind of cool star pattern. I think that will look kind of cool with her. And it's going to add a little layer of background, extending the background of this card. I could have put something down underneath this. And then it kind of adds to the black in her dress if I stamp this in black. I think she's going to mainly be on top of that. So there you go. Let's put her down. And I think I have some sayings I can find and put a saying on here or some sort of a thing and kind of finish this up. Give her some words of wisdom here. I am going to first go around this with a white pencil. You could use a little bit of like watered down white paint for this. So basically, I just kind of want her to stand out a little bit more. This is a white Prismacolor pencil. And I think that will do what I want it to do, which is just to kind of give her a little bit of background, just a touch. She is very fashion forward, as you can see, all dressed up. I am, I have my own fashion, I guess. I love to get dressed up and do things, but, I don't know. I have my limits. I also have a Stabilo pencil out here if I wanted to blend this in. But this is actually going quite well and doing exactly what I want it to do. Without the necessary extra step of blending it in with the water brush, which this won't, because it's just a watercolor or a regular color pencil. And I think that that's fine. I think that that has gone a long way to getting her to pop out, just by blending that into the background a little bit. You can't see that stamp too much, but I do think it adds a little bit of texture. So I think I'm gonna, what else do you want on this? Any ideas? I think we need to go around the edge with something, and probably the black again. And I'm just gonna do the very, very edge. I sometimes kind of want to blend this out, but I just want to kind of give it a really light visual. I don't want to make it too black, but I do want to give that edge a little bit of definition, just a tiny bit, without getting carried away. Because sometimes I like it to go in, like, you know, a lot, but not this time. Not this time. Okay. Alright. I think that looks good. We'll put something on the back of here, which I think, wouldn't it be cool to use for the writing space something like a pattern paper, which I probably have some pattern paper, and I think that would be really cool. And I also have, like I said, some little stickers of, have a whole tin full of little dolls that are like this. Is I think what I'm going to do. Can I do that? I have misplaced my little ruler, unfortunately. It's super handy. I had it the other day. Where did I stick it? For tearing things, and I don't know where it's at, and I need to stop and clean up, but I don't have any time scheduled for that necessarily right now. So I'm just gonna glue this onto the back of this card real quick. And I will find a little saying of some sort. And we'll call this Polka Dot, shall we? the rest of these back in here. I have way too many of these. I should be putting one of these on each and every, there's like 400 of these in here, so I'm just gonna find something so she's like saying something very profound. Let life surprise you is a good one. Creativity takes courage. Show the world your magic. I think she might be saying that. There is beauty in simplicity. There you go. Polka dot, simple pattern. Love it. I love how, like, this week we're doing polka dot and doodle. What do we want to do for doodle? I actually have this idea. There is beauty in simplicity. I think that that is the absolute beautiful quote, idea, sentiment, let's go with that, for polka dot. Beautiful. So I'm going to ink that, put that on here, and again, like, that suggests something to write about for this prompt. And gross. Okay, there's fuzzies on my little daughter. It was, the cats love to find these and play with them, and they knock them around, and then I can't find them because they think these are cat toys. They really do. In simplicity there is beauty, or there is beauty in simplicity. There is beauty in simplicity. I think this is a Tim Holtz set. I'm not really sure. Somebody actually made these for me and sent them to me in a happy mail, which is absolutely beautiful, and thank you so much to Sharon Reinheimer. If you're watching this, thank you. I am using these. Oh yeah, Tim Holtz, MNII3. I have a stamp set from, I don't think it's Tim Holtz actually. I think it's Stampers Anonymous. Is that Tim Holtz? Anyway, I should stamp a whole bunch of them and cut them out and give them to people. Okay. That is the front of Polka Dot, and that is the back of Polka Dot, and there's plenty of space here to write or doodle or whatever it is you want to do. So that is Polka Dot, and I am getting caught up. I have only one left, and I am like flush. Whew. Each one of these cards takes me about an hour. That includes like all of the planning and stuff. So let's keep going, and then at some point I might clean off my desk. The next one is doodle. So I'm gonna work on doodle, and I am going to say watercolors stuck. So I had an idea for what I was going to do for doodle, and I gave it a shot, and it was really a pretty simple idea, and I wasn't really happy with it, so I'm going to start again. So I have gotten out some watercolor paper, And I think I'm just going to make a background and then do doodles on top of it. Partially because I really like the way that these look. And I love it when people do these. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I think is what I want is I want just spots of color. And I'm not really sure if I want to go with like warm colors or cool colors. So we're going to have to just make a decision and try something. And I do kind of want to have what looks good to us today. I've been working a lot with like really warm kind of colors. So these are Inktense blocks. Let's really get a little bit experimental here with these color blotches. Shall we? Let's play with maybe contrasting colors. So let's try this. We can try yellow. And I have no idea what's going to happen here. I'm going to mix media, mixed media, and doing some stuff. We're going to do some stuff. So let's do warm tones, but first let's make some decisions, and we could play with like just one palette. Maybe orange yellow. Let's go orange yellow. So let's make a few blobs on here using the Inktense. Sorry, I'm really thinking about this. In blue and purple. And then we'll come back with orange and yellow and fill in the rest of these, and along with having some of these that are not, just based on having them be in this. I'm not going to fill these in all the way. I'm just going to kind of make them around. And kind of, I mean, we'll see what happens. We're just going to play around. So what did I say? Blue and purple. What kind of purple colors do we have? I don't even know what color this is. I should like probably do a swatch on these. Well, it's kind of purple. Okay. I'm just making blobby shapes. And I'm going to make a couple of blobby shapes, and then I'll add a couple of different yellows and oranges to this, along with just kind of, I guess I could have made a border with this. Believe me, I have not exactly planned this. Don't know if you had noticed. We'll see what happens. If we don't like it, we can start again. We already have, right? Let's clean off our fingers so we're not getting that all over there. The rest of everything. So now is what I want to do. So for the blue, I'm going to add orange because those are complementary colors. And I'm just using, like, this is a really inexpensive watercolor. These are kind of opaque. I don't know where my other watercolors went, honestly. Quite frankly, I don't see them. I need to clean up. I didn't think I was going to be doing this. I just kind of had a moment, and where I just had a moment today, and unexpected moment, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a video because I have been trying to get caught up, and it's a quiet moment in my house where I can kind of catch up. Let's put this right in here, and to mix this color, there's a lot of color there. We can go outside the lines and kind of pull it around where we want it to go now. That probably turned a little more muddier than I was really hoping for. I thought there'd be more orange in there. Oh, I know what happened. I think we're kind of doing this a little bit backwards. Okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what happened wrong. So it's what I wanted to do was I wanted to come in and activate these colors and let that dry. So that's down on the paper and not going to come back to bite us later. Okay. Right? We can fix this by doing this. So if I activate these colors and these circles, right, then it's not going to mix like it did with that other one. so what we're going to do is we're going to put yellow over this purple color. And now that that's dry, it should keep it from mixing too much with this. And so it will give it kind of a deeper tone. I'm going to fill this in with some water and get it fairly wet. So there's like some mixing going on in here. And I should have taped this down. Maybe I still should. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm really kind of playing with this. I've got this idea that you can mix complementary colors because I have only ever heard do not mix complementary colors because they'll turn into mud, which is kind of what we're seeing here. Like this was yellow, but now it's orange, and that's kind of just where we're at. This was the orange, and let's go back into the orange again. Here, and we're going to add it to this blue because blue and yellow, or blue and orange, are complementary colors as well. And I have this pretty wet because I want to be able to move this color around. And so we're going to see how this changes this orange by putting this complementary color, because this is the same orange and this is just with the blue behind it. It's making it look very different. It's a lot darker and more earthy. I kind of want to cover up all of that blue very carefully. So that's all behind the orange. I'm just going to pull it over here into this corner. And so I'm just playing with like complementary colors and seeing how this changes my watercolor. And thank you for bearing with me because I have just kind of wanted to do this for a while. And we'll get to the doodling part. But I want this to all be in like yellows and oranges. And so I'm getting these like burnt sienna, which is kind of a brownie thing. And that's what it says, is like this is how you make like browns, is by mixing complementary colors. This looks a little more mustardy. It looks very orange on the screen, but it looks a little mustardy. It's very yellowy here. I was thinking that I might add some like gold or something to this, but since this is coming out so earth toned, I don't think that I'm actually going to. And was that orange? It was blue. I think that's orange. Let's go back into here. And I don't want these to bleed together. So I have this yellow, and then I have this kind of mustardy yellow, which would also go really well in here. Oh, we were doing this guy. We'll do that one at the top. And one of the things is like with this, with the, I really like how it's kind of textured underneath. So I do kind of want that to show through. Because I think it's going to make us kind of interesting. And I'm just going to pull that up. Okay, and so for this last purple bit, how does that look? Okay. All right. I'm going to come back in here with the orange, and we can just do that now and kind of put a little bit of orange in here. I hope you guys are having a great day. I am super excited to go and see what other people have done for Doodle. I was almost thinking that I could put a picture of my cat. We call her Doodle. We call her Doodah Daily. We call her Newt. Well, her name is Newt. We call her lots of things. We call her Poodle Pants. And maybe I should have just done that. Okay. What do we think of that? I might come back in here and just try and pick up and move some of this orange. And what I said I was going to do with that top purple is for some reason it looks like you can see that original center part, and it looks to me like it's it's giving me this whole rock vibe with the colors and the textures. It's kind of interesting. there's a puddle that I've left here, and I'm going to come back in with this brush and just kind of carefully lift some of that water up. That is kind of a gray-green. That's what I'm going to call that. An interesting color. I do think it has a lot of shadow, and it does have a lot of like interesting parts. This one up here does as well. It's just more difficult to see. It looks more like a solid orange because I got that. This is really opaque. And I have another watercolor set, and I'm not really sure where that is. So we're using these, and these are very opaque, and they leave a lot of kind of like a chalky feel, and I kind of a little bit like that, I think, because I am going to come back and doodle on this when it's done drying, and so I bet we're going to get a very earthy kind of color coming out when we put this kind of more mustard type yellow. This is kind of a brighter yellow. This is a more earth toned yellow, and I think when we pair it with this purple, we are going to get a very yellow ochre kind of a color coming out of this, which this is already kind of yellow ochre to begin with. I'm just going to get a lot more water on here and move this yellow over the purple. I was thinking about going back into the blues where I usually like to play blue and green for this today, but I've been doing a lot of orange, and it's kind of out of my usual palette that I do, and so I kind of opted to, after flirting around with veering off and playing with the blue tones, I really just decided to stick with this, mainly because it's still fall, and I thought these warm colors would just be a nice thing to play with. And it is not too late. I could still decide. I do kind of like that the texture of the Inktense pencils underneath here is really adding a lot of texture underneath, which I'm really kind of liking. Really liking. Okay. And let's just pick up little bits. And I've left it like right there where it's very dark, and it looks almost like a gray or a black. And these are kind of like reminding me of rocks for the most part. And I think it really has to do with that texture again underneath, and what it looks like and the way these are shaded. Except for this guy looks like a snail to me because it looks like his antenna and his little just what I'm seeing right now. Okay, so I have out on my desk these Angel Wing Enterprises, and these are Pearl X Radiant Pearls, and I haven't used these for a long time. I used to use these all the time, and I have these, because I was using them with, I was stamping and using them with that. I haven't really used them in a long time, but because I'm going to add a little bit of this here and there and see if I can't add a little bit of sparkliness into here. Maybe just a little. I don't really see it going in. I do have orange too. Maybe I'll just add that around the edges and see what happens. And is it adding a little bit of shimmer? I don't know. It's not super noticeable right now. Not super noticeable right now. What do we think of these colors? I've had these forever. I have literally had these for ages. Okay. That came out much thicker than I thought it was going to. I think the boys are downstairs playing magic. They are making some weird noises. Okay. I like this better. I like this orange. It's a little more happy. Okay. Although I guess if I didn't want it shadowy and whatnot, I could have just if I didn't want it all shadowy, then I guess I could have skipped the complementaries and just gone straight into the yellow and the orange. So I really do like these kind of earth tones that I've made, and I like the way that my swatches have come out. So I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna come back in and I'm gonna just make some doodles on these shapes and see where that goes. And I think that will be my card, and I think it's gonna be pretty. We'll see. it's still quiet and I still have a moment to finish this up, hopefully. And I'm back, and this is dry now. And I think I like it all right. So now I'm just going to add some doodles. So for doodle, and I really, really love these paintings. I see them around, and I could doodle on this with like pen but I think I'm going to start out by adding some maybe Prussian blue, paint is I think where I wanted to start out. And the reason why is because I am, and this is all, quit eating the paint, little girl. Yeah, I know. I was going to wash your bed and I haven't. It is terrible. I'm just going to get a piece of paper. Hopefully she's not going to decide to. So what I was thinking is, don't step in the paint. Okay. I was thinking that I wanted to play around with making some lines and that were kind of very, very thin and that got very fat. And so what I have available for me to do kind of like that is the paintbrush. And you could do this too with a calligraphy pen. You could probably do this with a brush tip marker as well, just by varying. But anyway, that's kind of why I want to use paint for this. And it's always, I think, a good idea to have a scrap piece of paper and give it at least a brief try before you jump out there and do it. This is such a beautiful, beautiful color. I don't know if I like this brush. Let's try a different one. Maybe this one. Okay. I'm just liking the lines I'm getting with this a little bit better. So the other one was too big. Much bigger than what I was looking for. So maybe I'll start down here, and I'm just going to draw different patterns in here. And I'm going to start with the darker color, and then I might add some white and just add whatever kind of shapes feel doodly to me today. And that did not have as much variance in it as I was really thinking. So I might try and on this next one to really kind of get some very thin lines and some much fatter lines. of traveling all the way up to the edge as well. I want to make all the fat lines on the same place. And I'm also kind of wanting to make this kind of I have a lot of ideas here. I want it to be kind of wavy, and I want it to be an imperfect. I do think that it's probably best to try and just kind of give over a little bit of that control when trying to do this with a paintbrush versus doing it with a pen. With a pen, I mean, you're obviously going to have a little bit more control, and so just to try not to make yourself crazy, because one of the things I love about doodling is that it is, for me at least, a very relaxing activity. Or it can be. Kind of meditative and nice. And if you can get into kind of a state of flow with it. Sorry, I looked up and the camera was gone off and I don't know why, so I've turned it back on. It has a battery and it's plugged in. And it's been fine all night, and now all of a sudden it's just giving me problems. So hopefully this isn't a problem. And I was being really super witty, and I did this big confession, and I'm gonna have to, I don't know when it cut off, so, and I forget what it was now, so I can't, repeat it. So, I guess maybe I wasn't supposed to make that. I was getting a little too personal, I guess. The camera decided, no. Well, for the sake of posterity, I was just saying that I was getting a lot done tonight. And I also am not really sure where my cell phone is at. And I was just saying that, you know, do with that information what you want. I like that a lot. Where do we go from there? That is a question that will only be answered in time. Okay, so we have those. Loving that so far. And maybe we'll come up here in this corner, and I feel a little nervous now because I really do like this so much, and I'm not really sure. Let's see. Let's do something different. Shall we? I really like making marks with like a credit card on a larger scale. Because if you just use the edge, I think it comes out really cool some of the time. So I think we can do something very similar with a smaller piece of paper, and I'm just grabbing something off my desk because that's what I do. And I have all these strips I cut the other day, and I'm just going to use this as a way to pick up and put down paint in a straight line. Okay, are you ready? So here's the idea is, yeah, that'll work. It's still maybe a little bit longer. Might be better if it was a little bit narrower. Can you see? Has the camera died on us again? Well, we didn't have enough paint, so I'm just tapping it off here until I'm getting lines, so it's not too blobby. It's not blobby at all. A little bit of blobby. Well, I mean, we do want to get paint transferred. There, that's what we're looking for. And this is just a fun way to make lines. And now I've squished it so it's not sharp anymore. Are you kidding me? Okay. Let's try it again. We're going to try until we get this down. So this is just, I mean, mark making. This is maybe more mark making than it is doodling. And we'll add some more doodling on top of this too. Layers. This is just one layer. It's okay that that one's kind of not perfect. I guess if I wanted to now while it's still wet, I could go back and you know what? I'm gonna not worry about staying in these lines because I'm just not. I don't think it's that important. And these can all be kind of a little bit different sizes and a little bit different widths. And I think that's going to be perfectly fun. Oh yeah, I really like that too. Okay. No pressure. I don't know if are these doodles? Do you think I'm cheating? Okay. That was fun. Okay. Mark making. This is definitely a doodle. I drew this. Okay. I drew it with a paintbrush, but it's painting, doodling. Yes. I'm going to make a call and say the painting is absolutely doodling. And so now I think is what we're going to do is we're going to make some circles. And I like to use, we can make them with this. You can use masking here too for this if you don't want to go outside the lines. Say. Over here, maybe you don't want to go outside the lines. Maybe you don't want to write on this part right down here. And so all I'm going to do, I'm going to get my scrap paper, I'm going to put it right there. Right? And I can do just like that. Of course, a little piece of fuzz on there. My goodness. It's probably a cat hair. Maybe let's just be, it's probably a cat hair. And then I can come over here and I can kind of not worry about stamping off the edge there either. Right up to the edge. We go. We go. And this one will just have different circles. And I'm going to probably put some of this Prussian blue in all of these. That one a little bit darker. I probably should have covered that, but that's okay. It's not going to be too far off. Put a little paint. I love using my gel plate too as a palette because I'll come and do a pull after I'm all done here with my paints. I wonder, what do you think? What do you think is left in the bag for the prompts? What else do you think we'll see? It kind of is different because, like, if I have the whole prompt list beforehand, you know, I can plan things, but here I kind of just have to go by, like, I have to just really go with what I want to do, which is, I guess, kind of nice. But sometimes, you know, I'm like, oh, well, I already just did that. But sometimes, I mean, you can reuse those ideas. I guess for the second half, you could pick a different prompt that you've already done in the first half. So for the first 25, you just do the prompts, and then when you start to get the prompts on the second half, you could pair them with something else you already did and do it either the same or differently. That could be fun. It'll get you a little bit, I mean, thinking outside of the box and trying to do something a little bit differently. I don't know. I'm just curious now to see what all we're going to see. And also the other thing I always wondered about is whether or not she, like, reuses these prompts. I haven't gone back and looked at, like, the other, because this is like, you know, does she make a new list of prompts for each challenge? She's done this for 7 in a row, and this is the first one that I'm doing, and so that's kind of been a thing where I was like, oh, I wonder if she reuses the prompts. I mean, I guess she probably reuses some of them and probably gets rid of some of them, I mean, honestly, and replaces them. Right? So I'm going to go back and add some white to some of these, but not to all of these. Just kind of depending on what I think I feel like doing. I'm about to be done with the polka dotting here. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, maybe that's not my favorite one. I think it does look good. I like it a lot. I need 2 more patterns. Bom, bom, bom. What other kinds of marks can we make? We've done circles and we've done... I feel like I need to go get a book or something and look at something. I'm maybe running out of steam here. Think. There's so many. I really just kind of want to switch over to a pen now. One of the things I really do love is the finish that you get with the golden paints, absolutely love that. So I'm just gonna kind of come in here, and I should let this dry a little bit better. I really should. I should let this dry a little bit better because I don't want to ruin my pens. Okay. This is just a white colored pencil, and I think I'm gonna come and just add a little bit of highlight along here. Oh, flowers. Oh, a flower. How could I forget a flower shape? Silly me. I knew that if that I would come up with something. Okay. So I love that. Looks so good. Okay. We're super happy about that. This needs to dry really, really good. Or alternately, you can try the smaller pen. These were both working really well. I checked before I sat down here. So I can say this is probably clogging with ink. I'm probably dragging my hand straight through everything. I'm gonna turn this, get out of the way. I think that's a fair move. Alright. Okay. So this prompt came out on this Monday, and today is Wednesday. It's Wednesday night, and I'm getting caught up. So, I mean, and I have done already so many of these. I was not going to do all of this. Okay. I think that looks okay. They don't all need to be having like something filled in on them, and I like having a little bit. And that's great. Okay. So I think I needed 2 more shapes, and I thought of what they should be. The only problem is like I want to do like really fine lines, whatever else I'm doing. And I'm not gonna get it with brushes. I'm just afraid I'm not gonna get it with the brushes. Let me see what I have. Look. How detailed do I want to be for how long? Alright, we're gonna use this. This is what we're doing. Are you ready? I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Okay, you're gonna be ready. Okay. This is not gonna be as bad as I'm thinking it is. It's gonna be fine. It's really gonna go fast, and it's, think about it, think about how relaxing this is to just do doodles, doodles and doodles, and tons of doodles. So this is kind of like a little bit of a thing I wanted to play with for a while, so I'm really happy that I'm getting to do this today. because I've had this idea. I was looking at Pinterest, and this is just kind of like one of the things that caught my eye. Is just absolutely love when people do doodles and things like that over the top of just these splotches of watercolor. So it is just a very calming experience, and I've been watching a lot of people do Zentangle, and it's kind of a very similar sort of a thing. I think I'm going to go with polka dots again here. I'm going to do a little bit different kind of a thing. How do we want that to look here? It'd be nice if this was... Maybe this just means I need more colors of fine markers. Okay. You see how much easier it was to draw lines with the paper? Just so much easier. Okay. So what I was thinking is it'd be cool to do something. With just concentric kind of circles going out. As much fun as I'm having being very productive and doing a lot of art, I should probably go find my phone after this. So now I've put one dot on top of each dot that I already had. And at some point, I think is what I want to do, is start adding dots in between, but I don't know if I want to do that yet. Probably on this one. Don't you think? I can always add more later. concentrating. Very, very concentrating. I am really liking this one too. I don't know how much farther I have to go out on this, but it looks cool. Okay. That one I think is definitely going to need some white added to it. Maybe? Ooh, but I'll be one. Oh dear. I have, okay, other confessions from me because I'm just kind of sitting here. I have this really, I love these really, really bad, like, Reddit stories that are super, super, like, they're just super fake, awful stories that people, do horrible things. And I don't know why, and I think that it's okay because I'm pretty sure like the one I listened to today had to have been AI, and it was so bad. I don't know what it is about me that just attracts me to a really truly horrible story, but I just love the drama of them. I don't know. I love the like Am I the Asshole series where people come on and like are asking am I the asshole, but they never are, because of course they're not. They're telling the story from their like point of view, but they probably did something like equally horrible. They're just like, oh, this person did this thing to me. Very, very rarely do people come back and be like, oh yes, you're the asshole. So it's kind of like this whole thing. I might call this journal card done. I do think I'm gonna come around. I could add more white. I might want to... I don't know. This is still kind of wet, and I don't really want to add anything to this. I kind of like it the way that it is. These might be cool if you added just a dot of white when they dry. I don't know. I might add a little bit more. These might be kind of fun if you put like a highlight on them. Those are dry. Those still look really wet. Some of those are really, like the big ones are going to take a minute to dry. Again, I mean, I could kind of just come and add a little bit of white. Maybe just up on the top side of this. These might look kind of cool too if you put like a dot in the center of them or something. But I think I'm just going to add kind of a highlight sort of a thing. And give them a little bit of something. Leave it kind of simple. Maybe we need more ink. It doesn't really show up on that orange. Does it? It likes to write on the blue. It's It's not coming out on the orange. Okay. I mean, it's still writing. I think the white just doesn't show up that well on the orange. Okay, you're still there. That's good. I'm gonna call this one done. So I'll show you what I have for this week. This is prompt, I think 19 is Polka Dot. Love this card. Looks fantastic. And I have, not only does she have a polka dot dress, and she's just a paper doll from a Temu pack of paper from the 1950s girls, but also there's kind of some polka dots in the background from this. This is from doing a jelly print with using whatever this thing is called. What is this called? It has a name. Bubble wrap. There you go, to make circles on it, and it's really cute. I think it's just so good. And this was super easy. And then I have all these stickers of the 1950s ladies, and some of these, she's definitely got polka dots. She does not have polka dots, but that's okay. And just again, using some of that to tie this in. And that was Polka Dot. And then Doodle, where we did some mark making using paint that we're going to call doodling. This definitely doodling. We did do the white. And then added some white highlights. And I just think that these are very, very fun to do. Paint some blotches, and then paint. And this was very creative and fun, and you know, it's a little arty, and I got to kind of play with some ideas about complementary colors and see how my materials are going to work. And because I got the paint out, I also am looking at it thinking I'm gonna get a free jelly print. So you know what I'll be doing once I turn the cameras off here. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I had so much fun. And please follow the hashtag 50 Stack Challenge 7 and check out Amy's channel, and she has a list of everybody who's participating and makes it really easy for you to go and find those channels so you can follow the hashtag. And she has really great ideas, and as does everybody who's participating, and it's fun, and I really love it. I get to make all these journal cards, and each one's kind of a little piece of art, and I'm probably gonna start doing like more ephemera based on the prompts just while I have stuff out, and make like a bonus paper clip and stuff. I don't really have anything out today. I've been kind of good and cleaning up after myself as I go along. Anyway, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me. It has been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!